So I had someone ask me mainly about what are the setups that I use, and just kind of wanted to say that the main setups that I use, and I'm going to show you me using them or how they can be used over a longer time frame, just because I didn't play any stocks today, so I don't have a specific example of something that I played. And also, I think everyone knows the market just went down a day for the most part, and then ripped at the end of the day. But so just wanted to say the three things that mainly I use. I mean, I have volume on here. I assume everyone knows what that is. And so I'm using the MACD, that indicator. You just type it in, MACD. Then this one, stochastic slow. I think I said that right. And then also the momentum indicator, just M. All right, and then momentum is the bottom one, stochastic is right here, MACD is right here, volume is right here, and then of course my chart is up here. And just kind of wanted to show over a longer time frame, mainly how easily you could have seen the V play, and you can also use, I like to use RSI on a lot of stuff to swing things. But so like looking at the top indicator, you can just see, for instance, on the MACD, you can see the blue bars. So the blue bars that you have coming on the way down here, looks like the downward momentum is increasing, as well as most people would say. So a lot of people use it as they say, if the red line crosses below the green line, you should be bearish, and if the red line crosses above the green line, you should be bullish. But using these to kind of gauge the downward and upward momentum, as I would say, of it, really does, I would say, help give you an advantage. And you can see it stops, not, you don't have the cross, but you can tell that it stops being bearish after this next candle, or own this next candle, I guess. And you can also see down here, the momentum is, record breaking low, which is the SPY had been breaking downward records basically on the way down. And you can see that starts to reverse the next day. And then if you were just to look at the downward momentum slowing and the upward momentum continuing, this happens for a long time. And of course, the SPY went and hit new highs. But you can see the red line stays above the green line. The upward momentum happens very consistently, increasing until at least right here. Then once you get up here, you can tell you with the stochastics, see down here, they would more so tell you to enter looking to go long. And up here, they would maybe kind of indicate that it's dangerous, time to get out. And so you would be looking for your exit. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to exit. And then the momentum is the easiest thing of all. It's pointing up. So that means the momentum is upward. It's just a line, and you just read it. Is the line going up or down? And really, right here is when it starts to reverse and not be pointing up as much. And the stock does continue to go upward, but that easy gain right there is what that thing would have let you play. And so that would have been from, well, down here at 235 up to, where is that approximately, where that stops? Around like the 260 area, depending on if you got if you perfectly read the indicators or not. And so I will use those a lot intraday. And on swinging, mainly I would look at this and just look at the trend and use my support and resistance. So I use all three of those indicators, and I also use the Bollinger Bands. And you can see SPY was just hugging it on the way down, and then it exited right here. And that was your point of maximum opportunity. But most of the trading occurs within the band, and if it exits it, it's likely to re-enter. And also it kind of shows you with how wide it is that you can see it went to the top of it up here when it had this momentum. And then as the range on it gets smaller, since most of the trading occurs within the range at which it can move, against you or for you, also gets smaller. But erasing this, the other main thing you'd want to look at, or I look at, and I use this chart on the SPY just because to me it was so easy to see, is the support and resistance. And that's just seeing where it bounced off of the same area again and again and again. So that's resistance, maybe a place to look for the stock to go down when it hits there. And then where it finds support again and again and again is maybe a place to look to go long, or in this case, you know when it breaks it, it's a bloodbath. And I wouldn't necessarily, just because it is support does not mean it's going to bounce. If a stock is at what you would say is support and then it breaks it, you would expect it to have a sell-off if you have correctly found the support and resistance levels, if you have actually found significant ones. And you can see when it went down here and reversed, and of course you wouldn't be able to perfectly predict this reverse, but if you just jump in for the ride, when it starts going up, I mean, everything starts pointing up. And over here on this side, once it broke it, everything was pointing down. And so you could be in for that ride too. If you just played both of those, you would have made a good amount of money. And mainly you just play, like you can see this thing playing the resistance and support levels from over here that you saw. That is why the chart, you generally look from your right to your left. And so you're wanting to see to your left what happened and how the stock is likely going to interact with it. And so you can see up here, once it hit these levels, we went sideways for a little bit, and then we started going, and then once we hit up here, you went sideways for a little bit. And so how did I actually play this is right around here, near the top of this. Now intraday I did make some trades, but as far as for like my swing positions and like I had some mutual funds and stuff like that go up, and then as soon as we hit 263, because I know that that's a huge resistance level, I'm out. Most of the indicators at this point stop really pointing upwards, and I would just be out either way, waiting until we break above it, and then that's when I would consider going long again. And same thing up here. I'm out waiting until we break above it, and that way you can enter and exit your position, you know, as many times as you want. And if you're trading a fair amount of money, then those transaction fees won't necessarily hurt you. If they do hurt you, then you need to limit how much you enter and exit. But you know, you just enter at the point where you have low risk and maximum opportunity. And sometimes you may have to like exit once, and then you get to go along for the ride and you get that big gain. And then same thing up here. You maybe would have to enter and exit, but then you get to go for the ride. But really the easiest points to play was from here to here. And the way that I played it, and it worked out very well, was just playing, and I also played it on the way down, using the indicators and the support and resistance. You can also use the RSI when swinging. I'll try to make another video soon going over like an actual day. Probably tomorrow I should be able to play a lot of stuff, but I was traveling today. But anyway, this just shows you the indicators that I use. And like I said, I'll make a video tomorrow probably on actual plays that I will be making intraday. But this will allow you to just see which indicators they are, do some research on them yourself, maybe get familiar with them, and then when I make another video tomorrow on something that I played and that y'all probably saw throughout the day, then you will be able to really see how it works. But so anyway, hopefully that helped y'all.